Hello and welcome to the Unwritten Life, where I talk while I puzzle. I never really managed to find a good intro, so if you have any tips, let me know. For now, this is what happens. So, things have happened since we last talked. I was feeling not very well for a while there, so no video, or at least no big ones. And I haven't actually done any puzzling since last, but I have been trying to find, I wouldn't call them reasonable pieces maybe, but pieces that I hope maybe will fit out of the box and onto the table. But it's, as usual, lighting not greatest, because I don't have a ceiling light, and I've gotten to the point where I'm like, well, who knows if I will ever get a ceiling light in this room. The answer might be a potential, possibly not. I'm not always very good at getting things done. I mean, I can get a lot of things done. It's just following through and making plans and following through. I'm really good at making plans. I can make plans for days and then nothing ever happens with said plans. They just stay plans, which is, I mean, I guess you could say that's not quite ideal, but it is what it is. And yeah, I have done things, and as usual, I'm not going to be looking at you because there is this puzzle here. I need to look at it to be able to do it. It's hard enough while looking at it, or it's hard enough doing it while looking at it. So not looking at it, it's simply just not an option. Wait, where was I going with this? I don't know. Yeah, I was feeling under the weather for a while, and the last couple of days I've been waking up with such a sore throat, so I have been drinking a lot of tea with honey. Keeping fingers crossed that that's gonna work. I don't know if it actually works or if it's just in my mind that I really hope it works and then maybe it works. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Point is, I like my tea with honey sometimes. I don't like all tea with honey because I don't think all of it fits. And the taste, the flavor, that's the word, the flavor. Because honey does change the flavor of the tea. In my opinion, at least. Dang, this is hard. Okay. I gotta be able to figure it out though. I mean, it's a puzzle. I've done puzzles plenty of time. Not this one. This is a new one for me. Because I got it from technically friends of my parents. So, it had a bit of a detour coming into my possession. But that's okay. Or not detour, but I didn't get it from the store. I didn't buy it. I got it for free. So I don't have a box. It's been a while since I showed you. Oh, I'm not going to show you. This is the top of the box because I only got it in a plastic bag. And this is the top of the box. And this has the picture. I have seen it briefly when I received it. I have been making sure that I don't look at the actual picture because I wanted a bit of a challenge. Sometimes I regret that decision because it is more of a challenge than what I thought it would be, I guess you could say. But we all need some challenges, and at the same time, I mean, I feel like I've had my fair share of challenges. So maybe I don't want that many challenges anymore. Who knows? I don't really have a choice. They just keep on coming, those challenges. I did something, God, it's more than a week ago now, but it was still, it's still mostly fresh in my mind because I wanted to talk to you about it. As at least some of you might know, I like, you can see that suitcase back there. It's filled with knits and crochets that I've made that I'm hoping to sell at some point. And hence, the interesting part the other day, because I heard about it being a market, like Christmas market, and no one had invited me to come. So I did something that I find a little uncomfortable, but I did it anyway because I figure apparently that's the only way to do it at the moment. So I asked, hey, I hear there's a Christmas market. I have a lot of stuff to sell. Could I have a small table? And I was told by the person, because I knew that she wasn't in charge of it, the one that I asked, but I knew that she probably had connections to the ones working on having the Christmas market. And she kindly said, I need to talk to the other ones. Kind of obviously, it was not her decision alone to make. And I'll let you know. So I was like, yeah, cool. I'll keep my fingers crossed. So I did. A couple of days later, she called me and said, you can only have a small table. But yeah, sure, you can come. And I was like, yes. Fingers crossed, hoping I'll sell at least something, anything really at this point, because I've been to markets. I went to one market where I didn't sell a single thing. Boy, was that annoying, because I would like to get the stuff out and I like to get money in. That way I could also buy new yarn. Do I need new yarn at the moment? Well, not really, but would I like it? Yes, absolutely. So, I was told that I could come and sit and have a little table, and the table would be provided, and also I didn't have to pay for it. It's a big win, because if you have to pay to sit on a market and you don't sell much, you might end up at a loss. And that's not really what I wanted, ending up at a loss. So I was very happy that I was allowed to sit there. And I was told that, yeah, the market itself is on Saturday. But we're having, because they were lighting the Christmas tree, not they, but kind of their little kommun. I don't know what that is in English. The little community. Like the center. It's not a community center, but it's the center in, where the administration sits. And outside of that, there's a Christmas tree, or usually just a regular tree, but they wanted to light up the Christmas tree. So that was happening on Friday night. The Christmas market was gonna be on Saturday. All good and fine so far. And I was told that the market was gonna be on Saturday, but since it was happening in a church, didn't really matter to me. I was allowed to sit there, so I was like, cool, I'll come. I'm not a religious person, but I grew up going to church with school because that's what you do. So, I think it's a nice tradition. Anyway, the market was in a church. And even though the market itself was going to be on Saturday, they had opening, or because of the Christmas tree lighting on Friday evening, they were going to keep it open, the church, on Friday evening for a couple of hours. And I was told that if I wanted to, because I'd never been to that church before, if I wanted to, I could come on Friday just to figure out where I was going to be and set up and stuff like that. moment I regretted it because I was like, I was also told that I didn't have to come on Friday since the market was on Saturday. But if I was going to come on Saturday, I needed to come a little early to set up. Fine. Spur of a moment, I said, you know what? I'll just come on Friday. It'll be fine. And thank the Lord, apparently, that I did. Because what I sold on Friday night, when the market wasn't actually the market, was more than I sold on Saturday, the actual market day. And also, Friday evening was like 2 hours, a little bit more. Friday was 4.5 hours, so more than double. So, you know, thank the Lord that I was there on Friday. But yeah, so I went to market and I sold stuff. Yay! I'm very, very, very happy about that. And it's also why I brought a notebook actually, because I wanted to tell you what I sold. I sold a total of 4 pairs of wrist warmers. And if any of you have been following me for a bit, you know I've made a lot of those. I had like almost 30 pairs. And I sold 4 of them. That's a good thing. And I had, oh, it's gonna take too much trying to find them. I had this cute little Christmas red hearts that you could put on for decoration. I sold 6 of those. So that was definitely a bestseller. I sold a table runner that I just finished crocheting to the point where I hadn't even ironed it. But I sold it, so apparently I never need to iron that one. And I sold a pair of, what's it called in English, pot holders that my sister made. So I didn't get all the income from that. And I also sold 4 cats that my sister made. So, you know, made my sister happy. She got a little money too. And I sold a pair of mittens. So I sold in total 17 items. It's the best market I've ever been to. And 2/3 of that were sold on Friday when it wasn't even technically a market. So, awesome. Really, really awesome, in my opinion. So, of course, that was good. There was one stipulation to me being at that market, and that was that 10% of the income I made would go to the church, or not technically the church, but the people, the people doing the Christmas market at church were kind of the church. They were collecting money for, I don't even remember, because it didn't matter that much to me, I'll admit. But they were collecting money, and 10% of what I sold, or basically a 10% fee of sitting at the market, which is way better. I would rather pay 10% of my earnings to the market for being allowed to sit there than have to pay a set amount and not being guaranteed any sale, and therefore maybe possibly losing money, because that would suck. But I didn't lose money. I earned money because I sold a total of 17 items. I'm very, very happy with that. I hope you can tell that I'm very excited about having not just sold stuff, but actually sold stuff to the point where I actually earned money. And you know, I'm unless I go and buy a lot of yarn right now, and I'm trying to not, because I have a lot of yarn, I'm trying to make work of what I have. But I'm also, that means I am finishing this year with my crafting in the black. As in, I have not lost money, I've actually earned money. Not a lot. I'm not very far from ending up in the red, because I have bought some yarn this year. I probably shouldn't have, but I did. But yeah, in total, I ended up in plus. Mostly, and not only because of that market, because, oh, did I tell you about the previous market? Yeah, I did. I did. But yeah, I sold my stuff at the market, and I ended up in the black. It was amazing. I love that for me. Kind of, obviously. It's not fun losing money on stuff, doing stuff you love just because, it costs money to make the stuff. Or, technically, that is not true. It costs money to buy the stuff. It doesn't cost money to make the stuff. It costs a lot of time to make the stuff. This puzzle is so hard. Why? I'll figure it out, okay? I'll figure it out. Sure don't know how, but I hope I will figure it out eventually, at some point. I know I will. Sometimes I get a little frustrated because I want things to take less time, I guess. And it's also frustrating because, I don't know what I'm doing. That's not true. I'm doing a puzzle, so I know what I'm doing in that sense. It's just, the puzzle is a bit hard. So, there's that. But I wanted to tell you about the market. It's the best market I've ever been to, and, well, technically it is the best market I've ever been to, even for just a market day. But the day that was the absolute best was the day before market. And I think I know why. And my throat is still a little sore, so, that's unfortunate. But I have a theory. I don't know if it's correct. If I had known, I would have known whether it was not a theory or not. But I have a theory as to why I sold more the day before the actual market than on market day. Because the day before the market, it was all like relaxed and calm. People were coming and going. Everyone was in a good mood after having the Christmas tree lit, and basically a lot of good. I'm not saying market day was not good, because it was, but it was a different feeling to it, because market day on Saturday, it was so full with people. Oh my lord, that was a lot of people. And a lot of those people didn't necessarily come to market to buy a lot. They came to see their friends and family and neighbors, and it was more like a community getting together thing on market day. And the day before, the Friday in the evening, it was obviously community get together, enjoying time, but it was less people, but they had more time, and there were less other people to talk to. So when I was sitting there, and the table was it was not a rectangle like this, but more like half of this made it into like a quadrant, like 4 equal sides. It was tiny. It was heck, this puzzle is probably bigger. It was a tiny table, and it was very low. It was like knee level because I was sitting, and the table was at knee level, so people have to really bend down to see the stuff. So in that sense, it was the smallest table I've ever had. It was the lowest table I'd ever had. And it wasn't a lot of vendors, but the ones that were there, everyone had probably signed up earlier than I did, let's be honest. and they had bigger tables. So I had the smallest table, like all the things, and I still sold the most I've ever sold. So, you know, very good sign that size do not matter. Maybe, and I'm also thinking that maybe I was more lucky because the Friday was calmer, but also I couldn't like spread out all my stuff. So I had like, okay, I have like, I think 5 or 6 different types of item instead of like 20 different types of item that I usually do. So, you know, maybe there's something to like say about that, about like, don't confuse people with like 15 different items and like stick to 5 so they can like really have it more like, it's easier to see, I guess. I don't know. Either way, I don't really care why I got lucky. I care that I did get lucky, and I do care that, you know, I sold stuff. It was awesome. Oh my god, all these like great colors are the same. I'm gonna go nuts. Not actually, I hope, but maybe. Then again, I don't know. This puzzle is so hard. You know what? I might need to do some of this puzzle without you because it is gonna take me forever. Was it last year I got a Christmas puzzle? Or was it the year before? Because I have a Christmas puzzle that I haven't done because I'm doing this and it's taking forever. Also because I've only been doing it when talking to you guys, so that kind of, I'm kind of stopping myself. Yeah, it happens, okay? It happens. Oh wait, hold on. Maybe, oh, good. Okay, so, but yeah, I went to market, it was great. And, like the day after market, my parents had done something like on a different side of the country, and they were going back home, and it was a long drive, so they stayed the night at my place. And as usual, we did a few things. And it was so nice. We did something, I don't have no idea how to explain it, and I can't show you because it's outside. But the floor, a part of a floor in an addition to my barn, I don't know what the material is called, like concrete-ish, I guess. Half of the floor is fine. A quarter of it had broken off. It was sliding out and pushing the wall, and yeah, it was not looking how it should. And you know, we didn't want it to get worse. Or I thought, hey, it'll be fine. It's been like that supposedly for years. My dad was like, that needs to be taken care of. We need to like break up this slab so it doesn't push the wall even further out, because the wall had moved like probably 10 centimeter, had been pushed out. So the wall, instead of like this, it was like being pushed out with the concrete slab or whatever it is. And I was like, yeah, no, I see the point. And that was very nerve-wracking. Oh my god, we stood with like a huge, is it called a sledgehammer in English? Possibly. It was a huge, heavy chunk, like pointed in one end, flat in the other. Heavy, heavy thing. It didn't have a handle when we found it, but it had like a hole to handle. So my dad has made a handle to that one. And I have a smaller one, which is still heavy. But the big one, when my dad made a handle this summer, and I had to take it back home here, I struggled to lift it because it was so heavy, and I was like, yeah, we're using that, huh? To smash it. Cool. That was definitely a challenge. But we got that done. Dad did a lot of it. I helped out. I managed to lift it and smash it down approximately exactly where he told me to. And I was like, okay, where am I supposed to hit? It was nerve-wracking because, yeah, and it was very loud, and I'm not crazy about loud sounds, so it was a whole thing. But we got it done. I'm very happy about it. But oh my lord, that was cool. But yeah, it was something. Let me tell you, it was something. Why? Oh, that has some color. None of you have. Okay. All right, maybe you. Oh, look at that! I'm finally putting some pieces in. Yeah. So things have been happening. And I mean, Christmas is coming, and I need to get gifts and all. And like, there are no stores here. I have 2 grocery stores and like a Home Depot ish. No, probably not. I don't know what it's like. Building stuff. And one store that is a mix of flowers, clothes, knickknacks, and a little bit of coffee. And it's very tiny. And that's the stores we have here. That's it. So for me to get any presents or anything unless I make them, and that's going to be hard this year because no apples, no plums, no nothing of sorts this year, which is very, very sad. I was really hoping for that. So, you know, there are some additional challenges to living far away from everything, obviously. But yeah, I have a lot to do. And I also have a sore throat. Keep fingers crossed that that one gets better. And I will probably have to do some of this puzzle without you because if I don't, it's gonna take forever. Will I even finish this year? Honestly, if I'm gonna do it with you like this, it's not gonna be finished this year. I'm not saying that it has to be finished this year, but you know it could be nice. It could be nice if I finished it this year. But you never know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Always do. Just takes a bit of time sometimes. Anyway, oh, as usual, I've talked for a while. This is not fully done, but I'm fairly certain my fire died out, and I mean, there is very, very white outside right now. Not snow. It's like fog, mist. The whole wall is white without snow. Because the snow rained away. We didn't get a lot of snow, but what little that did came, it definitely rained away, and it's all gone now. But today the world is white. Luckily, trees are still green, or like not the leafy ones. All the leaves have gone off, but you know, pine and spruce still have their green on because they always do. So there is some color, and there's a lot of different brown colors outside. But because it is, you know, not raining, because it's been raining like for, yeah, since the snow came and started to go away, it's been raining. It's been a while. I miss the sun. And it's no sun today, but at least it's bright outside. So I'm thinking I want to go outside. So I'm going to do that when I finish this cup. And make sure to put on enough clothes around my neck so it doesn't get worse, because that would suck. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this. I have. I usually always do. I seem flustered a lot, but that's just who I am, I guess. So, I repeat, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. And now I have to go over to the camera so I can turn you off. Bye!